Good morning, Nigeria. It's a brand new week, and you are welcome to Ways Breakfast. Hashtag, what are you saying? I'm your anchor for today, Okikiola Taiwo Jalapo. And this morning, we're starting with a topic that sits right at the heart of our politics: discipline, power, and even the lines in between. Over the weekend, the PDP expelled Wike, Fayose, Anyawo, and other leaders over alleged anti-party activities. Today we discuss, is this political discipline or a calculated move for revenge? Of course, I have my ladies here with me, Oluchi Precious Omenka and Goodness Idehe. But before I ask them anything, if you are tuning in for the first time, this is a show that talks about everything that concerns you. Of course, it is Ways Breakfast. So remember, you're always going to be the main ingredient in all our conversations. I want to hear from you because our phone lines are also open to you. You can call us on 070-2500-7749 or 070-1424-2420. And if you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe now at Official Upgrade TV. Share the link. You can also tune in to channel 145 on your GoTV and do not miss this. Well, we'll go on a break immediately because our guest is itching to talk to us. So let's go on a quick break, and of course we'll return with our guests, so do not go anywhere. We'll be right back shortly.
Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population and with little or no meaningful engagement leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.
Welcome back to the show. Today, as I said, this conversation is addressing the power plays. Is Nigeria's political discipline real or revenge? So many people might be wondering what happened. Well, the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has expelled several high-profile members, including Wesam Wike, Ayofayoshe, Samuel Anyanwu, for alleged anti-party activities. Other expelled members included the National Legal Advisor, Umar Bature, Abdulrahman Mohammed, Mal Ohabunwa, George Turner, Austin Wanchuku, Abraham Ama, and Dan Obi. The motion was moved by Chief Bode George and seconded by the Bauchi State Governor, Bala Mohammed. These explosions happened during the PDP National Convention in Ibadan. Well, Wike's camp, via his head, dismissed the convention as illegitimate. They described it as a social party and called it Dirty December in November. Very funny. But these internal dissent, some governors like Caleb, who is the Plateau State governor, has distanced themselves from the expulsion decision, arguing it wasn't properly discussed in the party's NEC or Governors Forum. Well, according to PDP's leadership, this move, they said, is to restore unity, discipline, and focus in preparation for the 2027 general elections. It is being framed as a crackdown on internal divisions and ways to curb behavior that undermines the party's cohesion. But with us this morning is Olufemi Lawson, who is the National Secretary of the Campaign for Democracy. Well, to help us unpack all of this, Mr. Lawson will join us very soon. I think his network took him out once again. So it brings me back to my ladies. I didn't get to ask you people how you were doing. And with the whole...
No, you didn't care about us.
Oh, apologies.
You cared only about PDP and Wike.
Over the weekend, when the producer was telling us that, oh, we have to talk about this issue, I was like, this FCC minister again, can we just move on from him? Because It's somebody that has always been in the news every day. He's making headlines, either one statement, one this, one that. So I just feel like, as at this time, I don't want to make him I don't even want to make him the center of attraction, because there's so many things that we're talking about this person that I have not necessarily ever agreed with, right? His approach to governance and even to people, I don't find it funny. If we remember the video where he was just saying, where you were, I was in primary, I mean, when, whatever. Yes, you were still in primary school. I just feel like for somebody who dedicated his time to that position, that office, you don't undermine the person's journey also, because why? And this person also got a command from someone. So it's always weird when I see, especially the older generation, come and say, when you were born, I was here and here and here. Everybody, of course, everybody has their own time as to when they are to be born and their journey. So you cannot fault me for being born at this also time and space, or even my field. If I fault you for being the FCT minister, you say that I don't have respect. But you're faulting me for being, a commandant in that sense. So I didn't have plans to talk about.
When I even saw this story firstly, it was just conflicting. When I say it was just at the right time, I know this sounds very funny, but I had just seen the Paystack story, the guy that we're going to talk about that story later this week. So I'm not wondering that what's happening with the helm of affairs,
the elites.
Like, it seems as though suspension is now the next move to make if you have people that are questionable in your caucus. You get this? I'm like, why is this suspension happening right now? When you read the background introduction and you mentioned 2027 in view, unity, Dirty December, as you did call it, it made me realize that there's a whole lot at stake beyond just a face value expulsion or suspension that we're saying. There's a bigger fish to fry in that sense, to catch and that sense. But yeah,
for me, I think that 2027, people haven't taken 2027 really seriously.
Are you sure about that?
Many parties. I'm saying this because many times you see the voters waiting for that day. They're not being at the helm of what's really happening.
Yeah.
Like people, when I was speaking to somebody that, oh, did you know that they are finally, because they've been talking about Wike being here and there, why has he not been suspended for anti-party activities, someone that comes out openly supporting the other administration, but he's in another party, should he not be taken out in that sense? So it was almost like it's been years that they have been talking about these anti-party activities, especially coming from, Wike and even Ayo Fayose. But now that the suspension is happening, I'm like, why, on what basis is this suspension finally happening? Because I've had evidence since like 20 whatever. But I think we have our guests right now. Is Olufemi with us?
Good morning.
Good morning, Olufemi. Thank you for joining us. So I'm just going to go straight right into it. Many times we see this expulsion very common, in the Nigerian political system. 1 minute somebody is caught for anti-party activities, or people are jumping the gun. So people don't get the hand of what really happens in internal party democracy. So is this something that you can help us to spread out for any layman to understand? What exactly can you tell us about internal party democracy?
Thank you once again for having me. Political parties naturally are supposed to be the key drivers, of any democracy in a democratic society. But unfortunately, our own type of democracy, even though modeled after the United States, type of democracy, has become such that is showing every characteristics of anti-democratic institutions. Today, political parties have abandoned their responsibilities. Majorly, they have lost focus. Majorly, they don't even know why they exist in some cases, thereby, rendering them so worthless to the extent that most of our political parties have only become tools for elections alone. I mean, the only time you can practically know about the existence of some political party in this country today is when the elections and find their logo on the ballot paper. They don't really exist in the sense of what political parties should do in a democracy. In ideal democracies, political parties are supposed to exist, to govern in situations where they win elections, and in situations where they don't win elections, they are supposed to exist to checkmate, political parties in power, make propositions towards the advancement of the society, challenge institutions of state where it is going, whenever it is going wrong, and other fundamental responsibilities, including political education and the likes. But what they have in Nigeria today, if there are no elections, you can hardly see the existence or notice the existence of some of these political parties. And that is why many of these political parties have become virtually tools in the hand of politicians and individuals, especially those money bags who have enough resources to manipulate the destiny of the political parties. And that's what we are saying. I think with some of the major political parties in Nigeria today, except those ones that are in control of government.
Okay. Thank you very much, Olufemi. Well, you have mentioned that political parties are not acting as political parties, and I completely agree with you, because many times we don't hear about a certain party until election day. Campaign doesn't start until election day. And that's why I mentioned to my co-anchor here that many times people, right now, voters do not know what 2027, or how important the next election cycle is. If not, we should have started work, we should have started investigation, calling out, leaders on accountability and many things. But if we are to talk particularly about the FCT Minister Wike, as I've also said that I've seen a lot of anti-party activities, or what I would qualify as anti-party activities, from years back up until this moment. Why exactly is it now that they are, suspending him for anti-party activities? Would we attach it to what recently happened? Maybe they don't want to associate the People's Democratic Party with such video, or they're trying to look like saints that have seen such a video at that time. I'm trying to tie it to many things, but what's your own view with why the PDP is currently now suspending Wike for anti-party activities?
Thank you. Is it one of the reasons why Mr. Nyesom Wike remained a member of the PDP until last Saturday, when he was expelled as a member of the party alongside some other persons is because PDP as a party, just like some other political parties in Nigeria, lacks discipline. Wike is not the first person within the party to show the gross level of discipline he has displayed in the last couple of years, particularly the last 2 years. Wike's behavior are inherent in PDP as a party from time immemorial. It is in PDP that you have filed people unilaterally suspending national chairman of the party. In PDP, you've seen all sorts of scenarios in the past. In PDP, you've seen. So PDP itself as a party, is such that was founded and resisted over the years on indiscipline. If not, there's no political party that would have kept a Nyesom Wike as its member until Saturday. Especially when you look at the role he played during the election, having come into government, the role he has played against his own political party. Nyesom Wike has only remained a member of PDP until last Saturday by the virtue of words, but in practice and in reality, he has left PDP since 2023. So expelling him on Saturday was just a formality, because when you have a party that cannot discipline its erring members, that has to wait until the number of times that it waited for characters against some Wike, for characters like Fire Share and the likes to be expelled on Saturday, you will understand that the party itself lacks discipline. This is what you cannot find in any serious democracy, not only in the West, even in Africa.
Okay, do we still have you there? All right, sir. You've made mention of concerning the party's policies, but so far from what I've read regarding this issue that was tagged or unpublished out was that Nyesom Wike and the rest of the others that were expelled were as a result of them canvassing for votes for the opposition party, which perhaps it's in their constitution. But I want to know exactly, that's really the extent to it. Like, okay, yes, your party members was caught, let's say, in voting or in helping, assisting the opposition party, and there is no like a punishment, probably like a probation that had to really result to a total expulsion of them in the party. And I mean, in PDP, they've said that it's kind of splitted. We have the Sheyi Makinde zone and we have the Nyesom Wike zone. So I really want to understand, could it also be that this could be like an internal stage coup against Sheyi Makinde and Nyesom Wike for them, because both of them were unknown to have the power among the PDP party members?
You see, one of the problems with PDP and some other political parties in Nigeria is because rather than being built around the party's ideology and party's leadership, they are built around money bags and influential members of the political party. In the first place, I think we need to make this clear that neither Sheyi Makinde, Wike, or any other person have power to assume the headship or leadership of a political party. Look at, other democracies. Of course, we can recognize the leader of the party, like in South Africa, the president being the head of the party, and of course, ceremonially. But in our own case, it is the money bags that are there. And see, political parties are operated and must be administered by elected or leaders of the political party, not people who have been elected to serve in other political capacity. People are elected to serve as governors. Some people have been elected to serve as national chairman of the party. Then you find people who have been elected to be governor or president or whatever the case may be, across the structures, becoming the head of the party. Now submerging people who should ordinarily operate, the party, who should ordinarily administer the party. So that's why it looks so much like a factional issue between Sheyi Makinde, Nyesom Wike. While in the recess of it, neither of them have a duty to determine how the party is governed. It should have been the business of the National Working Committee of the party, who reports to the National Executive Council of the party, who in return reports to the Congress of the party. That is the convention of the party. But in this case, these characters have made themselves lord over the ordinary members of the party. Should have taken right from the word where PK is a member, where Fashe is a member, where others are members. They should have been disciplined primarily from their political word if political parties were operating the way they should, not the way they are operating now, and the whims and caprices of the governors, the president, and the minister, as the case may be, with whoever carries the highest currency.
Thank you very much. I like how this conversation is going. Maybe not the most exciting conversation for a Monday, but we have to talk about all of this that are happening. And like you started the conversation by letting us know what even happens in the political party space is quite troubling, because eventually these are the people that we're bringing into power, into different offices, and yet we can't trust the level of discipline that goes on in there, and yet that's the only what's it called, the stream from which you can get our leaders that are currently working today. And yes, you mentioned stuff about how PDP over time has been known for indiscipline. I even had to go and check APC, Labour Party. They are not saying so. They also have history of indiscipline as well, and it is very troubling.
Most of our political parties, yes.
Yeah,
most of our political parties.
Sure. Yeah. I'm trying to link both of them together. So my question now is, I'm thinking like the everyday Nigerian that is looking at this as, this is a hot gist for us. Do you think this is going to have an impact for the PDP elections in 2027? Because the people that were suspended are somewhat like the big dogs in, PDP itself. So do you think that PDP, they are lowering their chances for the 2027 election in case this causes an uproar, or maybe even incite APC or Labour Party to bring them to their own party? You know how this thing plays out. So I'm just curious to know, do you think there is a chance for PDP to not stand a great chance for the 2027 elections?
Well, thank you. For me, PDP's decision to expel those people was just mere formalities. These are people who have openly been campaigning for the re-election of President Bola Tinubu, who is likely to be the candidate of the APC in 2027. So whether they are suspended or not, expelled or not, there is very high possibility that these people are going to work for the re-election of President Bola. And that is not the major problem that PDP is having in 2027. The PDP and the party has been badly depleted. The people like former Vice President Atiku Abubakar and bulk of his followers have left the party. A lot of people are resigning from the party. Senators selected on the platform of the party are jumping ship, to the APC. And so PDP has so many issues that has already badly damaged its capacity and the likelihood of its return to power, not only at the center, but even in some states of the federation come 2027. So it is about 2027, but I don't think it is the election expulsion of Nyesom Wike and these few others alone that has damaged the PDP chances. PDP is already badly depleted, and a lot of factors already existed enough, which are naturally going to damage the chances. But this, of course, will further damage, just like you opine, that it will further damage the chances of the PDP in the 2027 general elections.
Well, Olufemi, I like how straightforward you are with your answers, because many times people shy away from calling out political parties at their fault. And even Oluchi mentioned how no one is a saint at this point. And I go through many other smaller parties I've run before, so I can tell for a fact that most times the bigger party that we are always clamoring are at fault. By the time we go to the smaller supposedly structured parties, we still find a lot of corruption, a lot of hidden agenda here and there, and a lot of lies. Let me put it in that way. They're trying to paint a story that looks like saint, and then the PDP is saying that they're trying to bring unity and discipline and all of that stuff. But let me not generalize on any political party right now. So let me ask you, is there any party in Nigeria right now that you can say for a fact has a working disciplinary framework. I would not agree for, I would not say for APC. I've seen many jumping ships here and there. 1 minute, this person
Labour
is an
Party
APC
as well.
member. The next minute is a PDP member. The next minute is a Labour Party. So is there any party, or if maybe you disagree with what I've said, is there any party that you can say has a working disciplinary framework?
I would absolutely agree with you. And if there's any political party in Nigeria today that has a working disciplinary framework, I would say that would be a party that have not tasted power. Because if you look at what the Labour Party has become today, nobody would have assumed some 3, 4 years, 5 years ago that Labour Party will get to this level of degeneracy. That it became, this was a party that was a bride, beautiful bride of almost every young Nigerians. And they look at the performance of that party, in the first major election it contested in 2023. But look at the party today. So the fact that the party was able to taste power at some point, winning governorship in Abia, winning members of the House of Representatives, winning members of the House of Assembly, the Senate. Look at what it has become today. You don't even know who the national chairman of APC is. Today is Abure, tomorrow is Apapa, next tomorrow is Nadi Usman. What sort of characters now claiming leadership of the party? These political parties, as I speak, almost all of them are in court. They're challenging one leadership or the other.
Yes.
It shows that our parties have not matured enough to be able to withstand, the pressure that political power, brings to them when they're in government. They have not been matured enough to be able to separate political party functions from functions of office, as politically elected, representatives. And that is why I want to agree with you. I'm not sure there's any, especially in the major political parties, that today, if APC looks like a coordinated political party today at the center, it is because of the character of the man who is the president, who is a thoroughbred politician, who understands. But if you go to a lot of state structures of the APC, what is happening in PDP is happening there. For instance, in Oyo, there are factions within the APC, one loyal to this, one loyal to the other. In Ondo, in so many other states, you find people loyal to one leader or the other. No. These parties are fractional. In Delta, it's even worse. When you have a new governor for PDP, dumping the party for the APC, you have a serving minister, you have a former deputy president, all sort of people, fighting over the control of the party. The party that should only be controlled by elected working committee members of the party, where all persons, whether you are minister, governor, wherever you are, must convert to submit yourself. But today, we don't have people to submit themselves to party leadership or discipline hierarchy. They want to be leaders of the party. Then you say, this is the leader of the party in Alimosho local government. It's not the chairman, no. This is the leader of the party in Delta State. It's not the chairman. Neither is there an appointed member of the party. Maybe it's the member representing his House of Rep, or the governor or the minister nominated maybe from a state where the opposition is in government. These are the characters that have dominated political party leadership in Nigeria. And that is what has taken away discipline from most of our political parties in Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Olufemi. I think that maybe during the week or probably next week or sometime we have to talk about political party structures for Nigerians, because one of the reasons why we have this show is for us to inform Nigerians and also tell them about their rights and where they need to, come in, be a part of the kind of questions they should be asking. So I think one day we'll talk about political structures and what we should be expecting from political parties, and even the hierarchical structure of a political party. So when somebody tells us that, oh, I'm the leader of this particular area, we can say that we would rather talk to the chairman, because the chairman is supposed to be the one to handle certain issues. But I'll let Goodness ask you a question, and then we'll move on from there. Thank you.
All right. So quickly, in just a nutshell, because I begin to wonder, when a political party have a constitution binding them, even according to their constitution, which was even stated in the news, and we have so many irregularities, not just PDP, not other political parties. So is it that there is not a workable system in it? Like, there are not divisions of power? I mean, in or separation of power among each political party. And I still believe that this Nyesom Wike should still have a chance or an opportunity to also prove himself as being a duly member of the party and at least a room for them to be reinstated. Is that all possible?
Of course, the parties have always opened doors for reconciliation, especially when they are putting election. And naturally, there is supposed to be a process to election, to expulsion or discipline of any members, from inviting such members to disciplinary committee meetings, querying them, asking for their response. But most of our political parties in Nigeria do not operate even by their own constitution. And that is why today, even five people in government who do not believe in the ground norm, the Constitution of the Federal Republic. And that's why today, the courts in Nigeria, political parties, every political party have a constitution. Part of the constitution is what dictates discipline, recruitment, and all of that. And then, of course, also the role and responsibilities of members. But do we have any constitution of the party in this country that make the minister or the governor or the leader, if the party decides to say the president is our leader, is ceremonial? It is not because the president can sit in position to make laws or to take decisions on behalf of the party. The constitution of the party does not allow it, does not empower the president or the governor to do it. But today, the reverse is the case. The governors are practically dictating what happens to the party. In some cases, they become so powerful that they have to dictate to the president in the name of governors of PDP or governors of APC, all this forum that they create. So that is why the political parties have become so important that even their constitutions have become as useless as tissue papers in some cases. So until political parties begin to respect the constitutions that establish them, the constitution that dictates how they should operate, who should be this or who should be that, you come to have this kind of situation where people can sit with a from the comfort of their room and begin to dictate what happens within the political parties. That's what I can say.
All right, thank you so much. We're beginning to wrap up the conversation, I presume. So I'd just like to ask, I like how you have highlighted the problems, the internal conflict happening across all political parties. But let's talk solution as we wrap up so that Nigerians can even have a bit of hope. What kind of reforms do you think that these parties need to start, enforcing to ensure that they regain back their credibility, especially as the elections are, coming forth soon?
Well, first and foremost, I think Nigerians, particularly those who are involved in partisan politics, must understand that they must be involved in how their parties are governed. To become a delegate, to become a candidate, to become whatever, even to become a candidate, presidential candidate of a political party, you are going to be elected by delegate from your party, from the grassroots. Nobody in Abuja sits and appoints a candidate for the party. So these members must first and foremost realize the potency of their power, to the extent that it cannot be used to influence the future of the political parties. And our political parties must be ready to begin to respect the constitution that governs them, not the dictates, unfortunately, because most of the people who even become leaders of the party are appointed or their election are influenced by these money bags who have so much money because they are public positions or public offices. So Nigerians must be interested in ensuring that parties who do not have internal democracy are not allowed to govern the larger society. A political party that is coming to respect the constitution of the country was the one that's ready to respect the constitution of his own party. But if people cannot respect their own constitution, how would they? So we must begin to emphasize on the need for the respect for law and order, the rule of law, not only in the larger society, but within our small circuit, within these political parties, within our organizations. And that is one way we can begin to have political parties that can genuinely drive this democracy. What is currently operating in Nigeria is such that it's not encouraging. The parties that are supposed to be the drivers of this democracy have left it in the hands of politicians. So politicians are now the ones dictating the future of our democracy rather than the political parties. Look at the days of the First and Second Republic, where parties were in charge of governance. The days of the Action Group, the days of the Unity Party of Nigeria, the MPN, so the parties were the drivers of governance. But today, government is the one driving the parties, which is unfortunate. So we must go back to that era. The party will dictate governance. The party will say, we are giving free education, we are not giving. We are offering this. We are, not one individual will say 50% agenda, 20%. Is it part of the manifesto of your political party? We must begin to question, all things. And that is the only way we can, rescue this country and move this democracy forward.
Thank you very much, Olufemi, for that rounding up statement. And I'm sure people who are watching can now see the importance of being involved in different levels, not just in terms of elections, but even in terms of party activities and the things that, even the possibility of becoming whatever you want to become in terms of the political space, you must be involved in the constitution of the political party, learn what is needed. So I thank you so much for sharing your insights on this conversation. And I believe the key takeaway here is that while many political parties claim discipline, the lines between order and the truth is obviously very blurry and we can't see anything right now. But yes, we'll take a short break, and when we return, we'll look at what's making the headlines today on the newspaper. So do not go anywhere. We'll be right back shortly. Welcome back to the show. Well, we have heard from Olufemi, and he has said so many things about party activities, party constitution, structure, Nigeria as a whole, what we expect from voters, from Nigerians. And I just believe that if we really listen to what he said, everything he has said has been point blank truth. So I hope that people at home or wherever you are watching us, you can, even after this live show, you go back to really listen and from there take notes to what you want to do next. But of course, the newspaper always gets us talking again. And then we have stories from the New Telegraph, the Punch, and of course, the Guardian. And we'll go straight into the Punch newspaper this morning, and Goodness will take us through that.
All right, so now let's look at what the Punch newspaper have for us this morning. And just right above the masthead, we have the story that says, regarding the 2027 election, Osun, Imo, Kano lead 2.3 million voter pre-registrations. And stories on page 8, page 3. And we have COP 30-year presidency and Obi clash over 423 main Nigerian delegation. The story is on page 7, and we have nearly $3 billion spent on Eurobond debt servicing under Tinubu. And that story is on page 21. And just right beside the masthead, we have PDP firestorm. Wike camp rejects expulsion as 4 states challenge Makinde. And we have a picture of Makinde and Wike face to face, as the Punch as well leads with a story that says, alleged Christian genocide. U.S. Congress begins full-scale probe into Nigerian killings. And we have a rider that says Nigerian church leaders to testify at Congress on Thursday, and Tinubu Peace Hemisphere meets Plateau Christian and Fulani leaders. As well, we have federal workers demand 35,000 naira wage award arrears, page 8. Obaseki failed Edo. Oshomole replies PDP. I'm wondering why that statement. Well, it's like a reverse psychology, because he himself was once a governor of Edo State, so we couldn't have said that he too also failed Edo State. But that's the reason, page 7. And we have immigration and IOM deepen partnership on border control. We have federal government scholars abroad stage protest over unpaid allowances. I'm going to stop there. We have 2 other stories. So now let's look at the story that says federal government scholars abroad stage protest over unpaid allowances. I wanted to laugh at the beginning because I was reading the story and it was quite, when I say funny, I think they should just, this is just an enlightened note. I just feel the students need to be recalled back to their country because, you know, a whole lot is happening. They might not really know the full situation of the country as at now because they're in diaspora, they're not in Nigeria, basically. So we have students that are studying in so many other countries like Morocco, Serbia, like that. And now these students have said that the government had promised a monthly stipend of $500.
Which government? Like the Nigerian government?
That's why I said that they don't really know what
This
is
person
going
I'm
on.
hearing something like this.
No. Please continue. I want to hear the full
So,
gist.
the Nigerian students studying abroad under the federal government's bilateral education agreement and their parents, right, are set to stage a protest today. They're starting by 10 a.m. Over the non-payment of scholarship stipend, which they say has pushed many scholars into distress. The demonstration, according to a notice issued by the Forum of BEA Scholars, will take place at the Ministry of Finance headquarters, Central District of Abuja. So parents really have come out to say that their students, their awards, their children are being affected as they could no longer bear the financial and emotional strain of supporting their stranded children abroad. Confirm they will also as well join the protest. And in a notice, they said, where I made mention of the scholars that said they were promised earlier to be given $500 monthly stipend, but have not received any payment this year. So that's from January, and now leaving almost 11 months at standing. And we have a result of a particular student in Morocco who recently had to lose his life as a result of the hardship caused by the unpaid allowances. So you can even see the intensity of that, and warning that more students would be at risk if the government continue to delay payment. So we have countries like most of our Nigerian students in Hungary, Morocco, China, Russia, and Serbia. And they have come out to say they are struggling to afford food, accommodation, medical care, and transportation due to the prolonged delay. And now the federal government in 2024, because there was a backlog, which they settled in 2024. That was December. So now their issue is from January 2025 till now, they've not gotten any monthly stipend. Yes, and the federal government had even cut the initial agreement. You know, the federal government had promised $500, and now the federal government cut their stipend to be $220. And still, even this $220, they've not still received it from January up to this point.
So we are running out of time, but let me quickly say this, and this is not to undermine our scholars and the fact that some of these people got the scholarship as an opportunity for them to further their education. They might not be in the best financial capacity to have funded it, and their intelligence got them to where they are. But I promise you, the Nigerian government has promised many things. They have promised the Nigerian Football Federation. They have promised that. I think what we should be looking at is that who is representing these scholars, right? What kind of documents are you drafting? When these people get the scholarship, is it that there's an upfront of payment in advance? Because I think that if we're talking about fees or whatever. In fact, what's even the bargain between the government, the Nigerian government, and even the country that these
Yeah, the
students are
bilateral
going to?
agreement.
If they've gone to Serbia, on what note have they gone to Serbia? What's the Serbia government doing for that scholar that is currently in their country? I'm not sure accommodation should be part of the things that we should be discussing here. If you got a scholarship to go to a particular place,
No,
even if the
it's a
stipend,
bilateral agreement, so it could be the country just promised them free tuition.
that's what I'm saying. What exactly is the context of that document? We have seen many of these cases happen over the years where people get stranded. Look at the case of when Russia and Ukraine started their war. Nigerians who were studying in Ukraine were stuck. It took one man to say, okay, we'll go and bring them back. The federal government was just saying, our students shall come back, and there was nothing being done.
And that's what I'm going to say. I'm not trying to be someone that will hinder anybody's academic dream abroad. But if you are depending on the Nigerian government, their allowances to take you through, I don't think that's a very
We are
wise
owing,
decision.
no.
Probably they should extend the
Tech
NEL
fund
fund
is
loan.
NEL fund self that they started. You are still hearing different things happening with those that are in the country, not to talk of you that is abroad. I feel like it's a dicey
the way
one.
it is, we might even be owing God something that we don't know. We are owing a lot.
Our debt has been paid.
Yes.
Okay. They just in the news. We just spent 30 billion. I'll read that. Hold on. It says here that nearly $3 billion spent on Eurobond debt servicing under Tinubu. So if you say that our debt has been paid, I'm not aware, but I'm telling you that we are still
We
owing.
trust our president to handle that enough. He's capable.
I like that.
Yeah.
Goodness, well done. But let me just quickly, before I allow Oluchi take us through the Guardian newspaper, let me just quickly take us through the New Telegraph. And the story I just want to read here, let me just end this on a very light note, or maybe not light, because Nigerians were very disappointed as at yesterday. We are not going to, I'm pleased to inform you that we are not going to the World Cup 2026. The dream for World Cup have shattered. I've seen pastors, imams, top people coming when we were to face DR Congo yesterday. They were coming and they were saying that in the name, and everybody was praying hard, even down to people who don't even watch Nigerian matches to start with, who had given up on Nigeria. We were very particular about that match. But unfortunately, in case you have not heard the news, I'm bringing the news to you. The highlight, the top story is that we did not go for 2022 World Cup. We missed it, and we are missing 2026. And by the time the next World Cup might be coming, all our players might have retired, or they are not even. What?
This is so sad because on
Friday
I'm not encouraging it.
we were jubilating.
This is not even the point to. Yes, this is not even the way to. I'm not encouraging anybody. 2026 is next year. We still no go join. And then now fast forward to another.
They always have issues with the government not paying. Even
so, as you talking about these payments, everybody
yes, now
that is what I'm saying. That you that is abroad
there's
that
no
they have not paid.
You know what, Kiki? Let's just even face the problem that we have. All of us stay in this country. Nobody is going.
Let them record them back and
With
let
all
them
that
pay
is going
our
on.
players, our Super Eagles players, their bonuses. Then you see they will do well.
No, that is not the way to say. You cannot say that because the government, yes, the government is at fault, but saying that that's the reason why you did not play well, or that's the reason why you failed the nation, it does not make you different
people
from.
should not make it look like.
No, that is what she's saying. That if the federal government paid their bonuses, they will play well.
No.
One thing
there will be more
motivation.
More motivation. So
sportsmanship doesn't work with motivation.
It doesn't
like
work.
That,
it doesn't work.
There's a
like
lot
that.
of passion that goes into wanting to win. So it's beyond whether the government pays or not.
Yes, they faced a lot of issues. That's all right, but you cannot say that because they did not motivate them. It's just like. With the way we even
hailed Osimhen on Friday.
It doesn't. No, they did not hail him. They said God save him.
Some players.
If not,
Nigerians will eat you and they will praise you. I don't know if we have time to take this story on The Guardian, but away from the major headline, I'll just go to the particular detail that got me, will I say, thinking, and that's on a projection from Red Cross Society as regards world hunger for Africa, basically. So the Catholic Pope and former presidential candidate Peter Obi have made a case for the poor and hungry in Africa, urging government not to leave them behind. So what's the figure we're saying? The Nigerian Red Cross Society warns that more than 33 million Nigerians could face severe hunger and malnutrition in 2026 if urgent and coordinated action is not taken. The most interesting part of this story is the new advocates for this nutrition stuff. You know, the ambassador is actually a woman named Leila Othman, a Nigerian interior designer, writer, businesswoman, and reality television presenter. And I think that's the one that firstly stuck to me. Like, okay, yes, we're trying to battle world hunger, and the person we're having as an ambassador is a celebrity. I feel like that is already distracting us from the role. I don't mean to come up as, you know, harsh here, but it's distracting us from the role the government plays in actually solving this. Yes, you know, sometimes we've also questioned these figures. They can give us 33 million. I think I was trying to compare this figure with what the UN said a few years back. It was looking static. So it's almost like we're just regurgitating these figures, and we really are not keen on the statistics per se, but it does not take away the fact that world hunger, Africa, children, there's malnutrition and all of that. But this now shows that we should be more interested in seeing it to the end rather than just having ambassadorial titles. Do you understand what I mean? And, you know, making it look like one very beautiful story to just talk about. It's a very keen one. I mean, if Africa, Nigeria is at risk in 2026 with all the things we're facing and we're still going to face, this is a call to action for the government and other, you know, people that are interested in things like this, like you and I. So it got me thinking, though.
Well, this might be, and maybe, like, I don't know in what English. Sometimes English is hard, though. Trust me.
When you're facing certain
yes, but
situation.
this hunger thing is one of the reasons why I'm sure you're very aware of the People's Food Bank.
Yes.
And this started as an idea of reading stories online and seeing how many people go hungry, malnutrition everywhere, and the fact that people see Africa as hungry. Yes, it exists, but
what's even the number they give Nigerians? I forgot.
Trust me, reading different statistics, just not just from one body. If you start to read about so many other statistics, by the time you put them together, you know that in the lie, there's the truth that hunger day. As I did like this, I never chopped this morning, so there's hunger. Wait till I chop.
You chop meat pie now.
No be meat pie, I chop egg roll. I never chop like to belly full. I only chop to be here on the screen.
Half bread is better than none, my dear.
My sister, full bread is okay. Don't tell me half bread. But yes, this is all that we can, you know, take. But let people also be aware of the hunger that is going on in Africa and be a part of the people or the advocacy to end hunger in Nigeria. But taking it back to our conversation for today, at the end of the day, of everything that we have said, every democracy survives on trust, and trust that leaders will do what is right, not what is convenient for them. The drama we see inside political parties may look distant, but it affects the lives of everyday Nigerians. So discipline should strengthen institutions, not destroy them. As we count down to 2027, the spotlight is on the leaders and the responsibility is on all of us to stay engaged. Thank you for such an insightful conversation, Goodness and Oluchi. And to our viewers, thank you again for joining us on this special Monday. Well, that's all we have for you today. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.